Cinema Sins gives a sin for Michael being able to shatter the car door window, but not the fact that Michael clearly has a wrench in which to do it. Cinema Sins gives a sin for the fact that Michael is in the Myers house and that the potential home buyers would very much end up dead, despite the fact that the movie clearly shows Michael is following Laurie at this point on in the movie, so it's a safe bet that her father took the potential home buyers to the Myers house when Michael isn't there. Cinema Sins questions why Michael would walk from Laurie's school to Tommy's school, but as this scene continues on, it's clear that Michael gets into the car to follow Tommy. So what? He parked the car outside Tommy's school, walked to Laurie's school and then back to Tommy's and then gets in the car? Or did he actually drive from Laurie's school to Tommy's? Here's the hint. He took the car. Why? Because he's standing in front of the same car that he stole the previous night when he's watching Laurie and he's been using it to get around town. Cinema Sins gives a sin for a payphone. Why? Because Loomis didn't use his oh-so-awesome cell phone he clearly owns? I mean, yeah, cell phones did kind of exist at this point, but it wasn't until 1983 when the first commercial cell phone was available and it cost around $3,995. Payphones were the go-to thing for calling your friends, family and anyone else in 1978 when you weren't at home or somewhere else where there was a non-payphone. Cinema Sins gives a sin for the rotary phone despite the fact that rotary phones were still very much in use in 1978. It wasn't until the mid-80s when the push-button phone was in more American homes than a rotary phone. So, where's the proof that Annie was eating cereal? She could have been eating a goddamn apple for all you know. And isn't it considered rude to talk with your mouth full, or is that just the basic form of communication at the Cinema Sins office? Cinema Sins points out that Michael's been up to a lot during his return trip to Haddonfield during this sin. And it's true. He has been. But they say nobody else has seen Michael except for Laurie, which is bullshit because one of the bullies who was picking on Tommy during this scene bumps into Michael and has about 4 seconds of eyeballing him before he runs away. So Laurie isn't the only one who's seen Michael in town. Cinema Sins gives a sin for the fact that Tommy keeps his comics under the couch, but not for the fact that all those comics seem to have the exact same back cover advertisement. It's almost like the filmmaker said, we're not going to show the front covers to these clearly made up comic book titles, just go down to the store and grab some random comics off the shelf. And the person in charge of this important task just grabbed an entire stack of one title of the same issue number. Cinema Sins gives a sin for Lindsay. Because? I mean, she's clearly paying attention to the movie on the TV, which in today's era of kids with short attention spans means that Lindsay must have some goddamn X-Men-like mutant superpower. So what, she's just gonna go see what Annie wants? I don't care who you are and what you are, if I'm deep into following a movie like Lindsay is here, I'm not gonna pay attention to anything else. Cinema Sins gives a sin for the movie making us watch the opening credits of the original 1951 The Thing from Another World, and that's fine. But seriously, that reveal of the title was so kick-ass that Carpenter himself would do so when he remade the movie. And you're gonna sin that sweet-ass title sequence? Cinema Sins gives a sin for how long the night is. Well, considering it's 1978 and the likes of Candy Crush didn't exist to piss the time away, or the internet as we know it today didn't exist so Tommy can't look at boobies, I'm gonna say it's gonna be a long night. Cinema Sins gives another sin to Lindsay again. And like I said before, and I don't care what some ass clown of a babysitter wants, if I'm going to sit down and watch The Thing from Another World, I'm damn well going to sit there and give it my undivided attention. Cinema Sins gives a sin for Annie forgetting her keys, because nobody in the history of ever has ever forgotten something like their car keys or any keys at all. As a kid, I would often leave the house only to forget my front door key, meaning that if anybody else in the family was not at home, I had to wait until somebody had to return home to get in. Wait, so there was a Guardians of the Galaxy franchise in 1988? Cinema Sins gives a sin for the fact that Dr. Loomis has only now spotted the car that Michael stole and has been using that's parked across the street. Considering that Loomis has been at the Myers house since it's been dark, and he is watching the Myers house in case Michael would come home, he might not really be paying attention to what cars are parked along the street. But fair point to them pointing out that when we last saw it, Michael parked it along the same street as the Doyle house and the Wallace house. Cinema Sins asks why Michael didn't leave Bob's body pinned to the pantry door. Maybe it's because Laurie, who can't enter the Wallace house via the front door because it's locked, has to go in via the back door, which leads into the kitchen, and if Michael had left Bob pinned up to the door, Laurie would have seen that shit, freaked out, and booked it there instead of giving us that sweet, sweet chase scene. Cinema Sins questions when Michael had the chance to cut the phone line at the Doyle house. Well, considering he had to be outside to use the rake to stop Laurie escaping via the back door of the Wallace house, it could very well be that Michael, who has been watching his victims this whole movie and planning ahead, was watching Laurie as she left the Doyle house, possibly from another house on the same side of the street as the Doyle house, and cut it after she left. Then waited until she was in the Wallace house to use the rake to prevent her escape, and entered the Wallace house via the front door that he may have a key for. I mean, Michael is probably one of the more smart slashers. He does plan shit after all. Cinema Sins also says that Michael broke a window to get inside the Doyle house. Despite there being no evidence of it being broken, someone could have left it open or unlocked for all they know, and Michael sneaked in that way. Cinema Sins gives a sin because Laurie didn't say some terrible, cancerous one-liner that horror movie heroines often say that are so cringeworthy that they deserve a sin for it. Nope, let's give it to the movie because she didn't say a crappy one-liner. Cinema Sins says Loomis shot Michael 4 times, despite the fact that Loomis shot him 6 times, and they even hammer that point in when, after Michael has fallen over the balcony, Loomis pulls the trigger a 7th time to show that his revolver has run out of ammo. Cinema Sins claims that the movie doesn't know how to do maths because in the credits it lists Michael Myers age 6 and Michael Myers age 23, despite the 15-year time jump from the opening scene in 1963 to 1978. And that's fine, sin them for that mistake for adding 2 years onto his age accidentally. It's not like you guys can't count to 6 shots fired. Oh wait, never mind.
Not good enough, F minus minus.